happens when you talk about how God's going to bring forth the kingdom, then your heart immediately thinks of, well, how's God going to do that? Or what did he do to do it? See, now your heart starts inquiring into the work of God. Right. Guess what happens when your heart starts inquiring into the work of God? You go to rest in God. Guess what happens then? Your life becomes animated with the love of God. Right? But when you think that God has come, he's done something, only part of the deal. And now he's left us here to complete the deal.
Yeah.
Right? It's like that Pretty Woman movie where Richard Gere has the attorney that makes all his deals. And Richard Gere squashes the last deal, and he comes in without the attorney and makes a deal with that old guy for the businesses to be joined together in union instead of conquering it. And he comes in and says, it's all done, man. Just come in and wrap it up. Right? That's how we think God does it. That God came and did something, and then he tells us, all right, you guys got to wrap it up.
Right.
As if he drew up the paperwork and now we got to sign. No. See, when you think that God's left you here and it's now on the church or us to take possession of the earth, we're going to start thinking about how we going to do that.
That's right.
Instead of thinking about how he did it and how it will manifest. You start thinking about how you're going to do it. Then you start teaching things as doctrine about how the kingdom is going to go into the earth. You start telling people how they're going to do it. Right? And now you start teaching things that Jesus never taught.
You very quickly eliminate God from any of that. Very quickly.
All in the name of God, still.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Right.
That's a painful thing for human beings to hear.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there's a reason why it says afflict your soul and do no work.
Yes.
The soul can feel afflicted when it doesn't do any work. Right? And so the soul many times, the real temptation for our souls is that they can be agitated sometimes into a place of thinking, we got to do something. Right? And so the soul can feel afflicted when it rests sometimes. It can feel afflicted to rest. If you look out into the earth and you see death and darkness, that can afflict your soul sometimes. Mm-hmm. And the temptation is to think, we got to bring forth the kingdom.
Yes. Where's God in all of this? I got to go do something.
There's people doing that right now.
Oh, of course, there's gigantic sections of Christianity that are doing that.
Yes.
They're also our brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
They've also believed on Jesus, and in the same way that I was in lots of error and half-truths for a large part of my life, we don't want to, that's how we want to look at them too. So, guys, when we talk about these doctrines, I can't say it enough, because this is how I function. I just assume everybody else is. We're not disparaging the people who are busy with those doctrines. Every single one of us had also gone out of the way. Every single one of us had also had the poison of asps under our tongues before. Every single one of us had been busy with something that cometh not from above before. Okay? So when we talk about these doctrines, we're not coming against the people. Just like we talked about God warring against the persuasions that are warring against people. We're warring against the persuasions or the doctrines, not the people. And the reason we're doing it is because we love the people. Right? Right? So we don't want to let our view of people come into, because you sometimes can be disgusted with the doctrine, and if you're not careful, you find yourself disgusted with the people. And let me tell you, that cometh not from God. Right? We brought up Calvinism. For me, just for me, that's one of the most disgusting doctrines I've ever heard.
Yes.
And so in the past, I've had a temptation to confuse the people who preach that with the doctrine. And the Lord had to come and say, listen, Greg, I died for them too. Listen, Greg, their value is the same value as Jesus at the right hand. When you think of them, think of Jesus seated at the right hand. When you think of how you want to talk to them, or how you want to view them, or how you want to deal with them based on this doctrine, think of Jesus seated at the right hand. Right?
Yeah.